Hello everyone. Today the topic of our discussion is principle of animation. There are various principles of animations. Let us discuss one by one. First of all, what is the history about principle of animation and what is the purpose of principle of animations? Basically, we have 12 basic principles of animations which are being developed by men of Walt Disney Studio, Frank Thomas and Ollie Johnston. The main purpose of the principle was to produce an illusion of a characters adhering to the basic law of physics, but they also dealt with more abstract issues such as emotional timings and character appeal. Now we are moving towards our basic principle of animation. Our first principle of animation is squash and stretch, the purpose of which is to give a sense of weight and flexibility to drawn object. If I have to give example for the squash and stretch, the example will be a bouncing ball. If you throw a ball, the ball will first bounce and then it will expand immediately as shown in the diagram itself. So our second principle of animation now is anticipation. What is anticipation? Anticipation is used to prepare the audience for an action and to make the action appear more realistic. For example, a dancer jumping off the floor has to bend his knees first. Fine. Our third principle of animation is staging. The staging in the principle is akin as to staging as it is known in a theatre and a film. Its purpose is to direct the audience attention and make it clear what is of a greatest importance in a scene. It means which thing to emphasize mainly. Our fourth principle of animation is straight ahead action and pose to pose. There are two different approaches to the actual drawing process. Straight ahead action means drawing out a scene frame by frame from beginning to end, while pose to pose involves starting with drawing a few key frames and then filling in the intervals later. And next principle of animation is follow through and overlapping action. It is generally heading for two closely related techniques which help to render movement more realistically. Follow through means that loosely tight part of the body should continue moving after the character has stopped, while the overlapping is the tendency of a parts of the body to move at different rates. For example, like a lady is dancing and she is wearing a gown. If she is dancing, what will happen? First the lady parts will move, then the gown will overlap with it. So this is a overlapping action. Next one is slow in and slow out. The movement of the human body and other objects need time to accelerate and slow down. See, if I have to give example for the slow out and slow in, if you have seen seesaw ride, what will happen? It will first slow out and slow in. Even it has been shown in the diagram itself. So our next principle of animation is arcs. Most natural action tends to follow an arced trajectory. All arm movement, head turns and even eye movements are executed on an arc. Our next principle of animation is secondary action. Adding secondary action to the main action gives a scene more life and can help to support the main action. For example, a person walking can simultaneously swing his hand or keep them in his pocket. So in this example, like keeping hand in the pocket will be a secondary action, and while the person is walking, it will be a main action. Our next principle of animation is timing. Timing refers to the number of a drawing or frames. For example, it refers to a number of a drawings or a frames for a given action which translate to the speed of action on film. Basically, it depicts the timing for a particular thing. For example, if we have to show that bird is flying, fine, we have to calculate at what time the bird will reach there or a particular point. Fine. So this is basically timing. Our next principle of animation is exaggeration. It's like a caricature of facial expressions, features, poses, attitude, and action. For example, if a cartoon is there and he has seen some exciting thing, what will happen? The eyes of that cartoon will come out, means to show that some exciting thing had happened. This is called as an exaggeration. And next principle is solid drawing. The principle of solid drawing means taking into account forms in three dimensions, space, and giving them volume as well as weight. So first of all, if we have to make some cartoon, first we will make it as a drawing, pencil drawing, and finally we will give it a space, volume, and weight. Then it will be a solid drawing. And our last and most important principle is appeal. Appeal in a cartoon character correspond to what would be called charisma in an actor. An actor who is appealing is not necessarily sympathetic. Villains or monster can also be appealing. Appealing basically means the look of an cartoon, like Mickey Mouse, Tom and Jerry. See, this is the appeal, how it looks. And villains can also be appealing. This was the important and the last principle of animation. So basically we have dealt with 12 principles of animation and those which are very important for making any animated video. So thank you.